Hello, hello. Today we will be sowing the Aunt Molly's ground cherry. This little tomato type. Well, it's more of like a tomatillo because of the husk shell. But it takes a little while longer to get going than your typical tomato. It also stays small for a longer period of time, like a lot like the peppers. So I'm sowing it a week and a half ahead of my regular tomatoes to give it that extra time, plus to take up the heat mat on its own. This fruit is not something you find readily here where I'm at in New York in any of the nurseries or big box stores. So you can get a really good price on it. It's not popular, but people who know it will pay for it. So I'm excited. I'm multi-sowing this just to, these seeds are a few years old, so I don't want to give them a cup right at the moment. In hindsight, I might have done the paper towel germination method, but not this time around. Next time maybe. But hopefully these come up in a week or so, and we get a good crop. So I'm experimenting with the peas back there, making sure that the alfalfa pellets I bought were not contaminated with anything bad. So it's still a few days. These are mung beans. Still a few days before I can see any signs of that. The chia seedlings are up and doing fine. The spearmint is doing a lot better this time around. I don't know why. I can actually see green now versus purple. So maybe it was too cold for them when I first started them. And then the snaps aren't up yet. They just went in not that long ago. That's what would be there. Tomatoes. Peppers. Don't be concerned. Don't be overly concerned with the first leaves. The first leaves could look all sorts of ways. Like mine have all turned purple, and it's not cold down here or anything. I'm not over or under watering. It's just what they've been doing. I've given them some feed even, but those are going to fall off anyway. They're not meant to survive the whole process. So worry about the true leaves that come up, the first and second sets, to tell you if your plant is lacking. And so far, the first sets of seeds, of leaves, the real leaves are looking good. I do feel like I need to feed these peppers something soon. Now the eggplant needs potting. I was waiting on the tiny black beauties. They were late to the game. I was waiting for them to come up, but these little fingers are getting too big. I don't want to wait too long, so I'm gonna pot them now. All right, what we got here are some paper pots that I made up earlier. I have run out. I mean, I have a few left, but not enough, and I want to be consistent with the plants. So I'm almost out of plastic cups, and these are cups that we've used or gotten donated. But yeah, I've used most of them up. Then I was like actually looking on Amazon for recycled pots and the peat pots, and I'm like, no, I don't want to spend that money. And then I remembered, paper pots, dummy. But I don't have any newspapers. Newspapers aren't a thing anymore. So I was like, crap, what kind of paper? So I was looking online for heavy paper, and I'm like, how many pounds of paper? The weight of paper, how thick it is, some kind of poundage, and I'm not familiar with all that. So I was like, crap, I don't know what this is. I didn't want to get just that gift wrapping brown paper, which you could use, you just double it up, but I wanted the thicker paper. But I remembered then, like later on, that I still had this. This is like when you paint or you're doing something in the house, put it on the floor so that your feet aren't messing up the nice floors. So that's this kind of paper. It's heavier duty. So that is what I'm using for today. It's the eggplants. I have a video from a couple years now, but I'll link that showing how I make the pots. The square pots are good for bigger, but I like the round ones just fine. This is like a water bottle size, and the depth is whatever you want. I went with 4 inches, even though it's only 3 inches in there of soil. I might put more soil in, because I like it to be skinnier and deeper, because the roots are going down. I don't need it to go wide so much. So these were like those water bottles. People use wine bottles. Those are a little bit wider, and you can make them as deep or shallow as you want, which is great. I mean, you can really see the difference between the little finger, which are the long and tiny. This is also a little fingers, versus the Black Beauty. They just came up later and tiny. In all fairness, here's a little finger that came up later too, I think. Well, I did 14 of each. So if we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, that makes sense. So that's like the line right there. All right, here we go. Let's try not to. Oh, I said I was going to sell 1 little finger and 1 Black Beauty, but being that these are so much bigger, I'm going to leave them separate and just price them accordingly so people are encouraged to buy both. Because this is going to shade out in this container that I made. It's going to shade out those other ones, so I'd rather just let this be dedicated to 1 per. Hello. We are finishing up our uppotting of the eggplants that we started last night when I ran out of soil. So now I've mixed up a new batch. I'm going to fill up my paper pots. I got to make some more today. Oh, yeah. No butterfingers this morning. Oh no. This is why it's important to give your paper pots a little extra lip. I don't know what happened to this one. Thought it had plenty, but so it doesn't unravel. But once it gets wet, it'll stick together just fine, and it'll be flat on the bottom too. Plus, it'll get smushed in with the other ones and be nice and snug there. All right, so these were the remaining eggplants that I didn't process last night. So let's put those away today. And I forgot, I did a few, but for the most part, I forgot to put this mycorrhizal stuff in the soil. So we'll see. Now, I think eggplant is one of those, it's in the same family as the tomato. So I think you can bury it a little bit and not have to worry. Bury the stem. And it's okay. Once in a while, well, more than once in a while, and get these really solid, rock hard pieces of worm casting I like to break them up when I can, but and it's okay to have bits and pieces. It helps with aeration. It's slow release of the nutrients. No! Ah, crap. But that failed. Crackers. All right, let me go pause you and clean this up. All right, we're back for the last little plant. So we have 13 black beauties come up. I'm gonna go put this in the hot room. I now have the heat going because we've got primarily warm, loving plants in here. It's currently 74 degrees with 36% humidity. That's pretty good. Let's see, that is 23 Celsius. Push that back. All right. Holy moly, I'm looking peaked this morning. I haven't really done my hair or anything, but in case I forgot to tell you, this is a bean plant. It's a bean seed that I dropped and didn't realize where it had gone. But apparently it ended up at the bottom of my cocoa bin, cocoa coir bin. And it's been growing for a while. It is super leggy. It's 6 inches. It's been growing in there. It was pretty much at the bottom. So it was something I dropped probably previously. And then when I put in a new bag, it was trying to grow through that. That's pretty amazing. It's dark there most of the time, so it's all, really pale green. It was growing in there, and it was. I like opened it up this morning, and voila, there's a plant staring at me. That's chicken feed.